you believe in love at first sight? How about that people come into our lives as they are needed and meant to be? Grosse Ile, Michigan resident M.Abt believes in all such things and is living proof of her beliefs. She is also a native-born Scotswoman with a no-nonsense determination and a vision to overcome life's challenges, no matter how overwhelming they may seem.
My husband, Bruce, did some traveling, and he was doing genealogy on his great-grandparents. And he went to the north of Scotland where my island, Orkney Isles, was featured in the National Geographic. And he decided to go up there for a visit, and he was staying in the hotel I worked in. And he was there for a few days, and then one of my good friends introduced us. And we met for one day, and then he came back here, and we exchanged addresses and started writing, and we'd only met once, and he came back a few months after that, and we got engaged, and I came over, and we got married, and it all happened within about 9 months.
And how long ago was that?
It'll be 17 years next month in May.
And how many people have told you it sounds like some kind of a crazy fairy tale, right?
A lot of people. A lot of people.
What made you believe that Bruce was the right guy on such a short time?
It just felt right. We just clicked. We completely clicked.
Did anyone in your family try to talk you out of it because it was so fast?
No, nobody really knew for the first few months, and then I decided I was going to come here for a Christmas. And that was when they kind of find out that we were writing back and forth, and that I had met this guy, and I came over here for Christmas, and that was when he had actually proposed, and I came back and I told my family that this is it.
And they were good? They had no objections? Going across the ocean?
Yeah, obviously they thought it was a little bit quick, but I think they knew as well. My sister did say that she knew that this was it. She felt something too.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
In this magical wonderland of true love, have you had any children?
Yes. We had our daughter in 2001. Her name is Emily. And in 2007 we had our son Magnus.
And what about hobbies for you?
My biggest hobby is basically exercise, and it's coming to the time of year to where my bike will come out, and I do a lot of bike riding through the summer.
Do you take the kids with you?
I've started to take my son with me. My daughter will come now and again, but the type of bike riding I do is not leisurely. I actually do road bikes. I work hard at trying to beat my time around the island every time that I go. Me and my son are going to be doing one of the island bike rides in October. So he got a new bike for his birthday, so he comes on bike rides with me, but not hardcore.
Right. Did you do it in the island, at home, in Scotland?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
all over.
This has been your passion for your life.
Yeah, it's just I like to be on the road. I like to feel the freedom on the road, and it's a good way to exercise and de-stress, and I just love it.
Tell me how your life changed and when and why.
My life with my sight began to change when I was about 18. And I noticed through school, the typical find it hard to see the board and stuff like that in school. So I went and had my eyes tested, and I just got regular glasses at that point. It wasn't until I was at college, and I was about 19, that I went to get another eye test, and I was told at that point that I have keratoconus.
Keratoconus?
Keratoconus.
Keratoconus.
Mm-hmm.
And what is that?
Keratoconus is a disease that is in the cornea, and instead of your cornea falling flush with your eye, it tends to protrude into a cone shape, hence the name keratoconus. It's a stigmatism. There is no known cure for it.
But cure suggests it's a disease.
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
And so is it hereditary?
Yes, I think from what I've been told and things that I read, part of it can be hereditary, but another part of it can be due to allergies, and I had terrible hay fever when I was younger. So the constant rubbing of the eyes and the pressure that you put in rubbing your eyes can put a lot of pressure on the cornea, and that's where a lot of the stigmatism comes from.
So you hear a doctor tell you you've got
keratoconus.
Thank you. And does it register?
It didn't when I was 19. I'm like, okay. you know.
Do they give, when they tell you what it is, then do they follow it up with, and in 5 years you'll be blind, or don't worry about it, it's just not a big deal?
At that point, I'm not sure if they knew that much about it. And me being 19 and young and, you know.
Invincible?
Yeah. I guess I didn't really ask many questions about it at all. They told me I needed contact lenses at that point, so that was the next stage. So I got tested for the contact lenses. And at that time, those lenses were the ones that are the size of your pinky. So those sat right on the front of your eye, which were extremely uncomfortable.
Because your eye was protruding?
It was starting to.
Is both eyes or just one?
At the time, yes. It was both
eyes.
But, yeah,
okay.
But my left eye has always been the worst.
Okay.
But I didn't think much of it at all. I had contact lenses and I could see better, and that was good. And it wasn't until I came over here that they discovered more about the condition. So I learned more when I came over here.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the one doctor doing a flashlight right on the side of my eye. My husband could see the deformity at that point. You could see the cone shape, and you still can if you shine a light on the side of my.
So you
my
see
face.
what looks like a cone coming
Yes.
out of your eye.
You can see the deformity, yes. And there's a picture on Facebook that we put on there that you can kind of see the protruding.
Is it your eye?
Yes. Yeah, we use my eyes to basically tell people on
The story.
Yeah, on how severe, you know, my condition is.
So you're 24 and it's getting worse.
I was 24 and it was getting worse. I just couldn't cope with the contact lenses, but I thought that was the only thing I could do, so I had to cope with it. And sometimes my husband had to help me get the contact lenses out because they would slip right underneath my eyelid, or they would slip up here, and to try and dig those out is a nightmare. It's painful, and so I stopped wearing them. I gave up. I stopped wearing them, and I didn't think, you know, I didn't want to spend that money on these if they weren't working.
But you couldn't see.
I couldn't see, but I coped with it.
Okay, how do you cope with not being able
Well,
to see?
I didn't drive at this point.
Okay.
I didn't pass
No
my
license.
driving test till I was 30. I back on the island, I didn't see the need for basically a driver's license. I had my bike, and you could
You couldn't
get
see on the
places-
bike either, girl.
Well, no, not really, but I adjusted to it, and oh well, you know, that's how it is. But it wasn't as bad then as it is now. So I hadn't worn them for a few years, and I was taking my daughter to school, and it's just up the road from here, not even a mile away from the house, and I was going down the One Road Church, and I managed to mistake a mailbox for a child.